Hello, everybody. This is Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook, and I am here today to do a thoughts and takeaway on the book Washington Black by Edyugan. And I loved it. It was my first, and I'm not one of those ones that always, I'm not always one of those ones that publicly puts out says what I think of a book in terms of stars, because stars are hard, because some things are like 3.5 or a 2, and I'd rather just discuss my experience with the book. But if we were to say stars, I would say this was a 5-star book, and it started off January just right for me. I had put this book off for so long. And I'm just so glad that I finally, took the chance and picked it up and committed to it. I started out reading it, and then I did my usual sneaky thing, and I found the audio version. And I didn't write down, and I said I was gonna write down before I got on the camera, the name of the the voice talent that does it. But he also did, I think he's done the books for Nick Stone. I know that the Martin book that she has, he did that. And oh my God, he's so talented. It's so talented at doing different people, different accents, everything. So I so much enjoyed it that I let him read the rest of the story to me while I just kind of followed along with the words. And this book just didn't disappoint. Let's see. Okay, so I had written some notes. I'm trying so I won't forget some things that I wanted to talk about. This will be a spoiler-free. I don't think there's anything I'm going to say in here that is going to spoil the book. I will mention characters that you obviously won't know in the beginning that come along the way, but I won't give away anything about this story. So you can watch this and feel that I am not going to ruin it for you. So George Washington Black, as he was named by his mother, and in the story, his nickname is Wash. So for the rest of the book, he's kind of referred to quite often as Wash. He's an 11-year-old boy on a plantation called Faith Plantation, and it's in Barbados. And I believe it's 1830. If I'm correct, right? I think it's 1830 the book starts at. So it starts at when he's 11 years old. Yeah, 1830. And it starts when he's 11 years old, and it brings you through to his adulthood. And the master, his name is Erasmus Wild. He is, what we've seen depicted in many other novels and movies. He's just a very brutal master who seems very detached and treats the enslaved people with as if they're not human, and they're just property. And so their lives mean very little to him. He's very quick to have them killed if he doesn't get his way. So he kind of rules with fear over this plantation. And you get a taste of that in this novel. But one day his brother, his name is Christopher, and he's known as Titch throughout the rest of the story, comes, and he is kind of a scientific mind, and it does likes experimenting and things like that. And he's interested in creating what he's calling a cloud cutter, which is kind of like this that you see on the cover of the novel. And when he comes to his brother, he asks his brother, if he could lend him an enslaved person to help him with his experiments. And that's where your main character, Wash, and Titch then become joined in the story. And from there, you just kind of follow the evolution of their relationship, and you hear, you get to experience the thoughts of Wash as he's growing and having different experiences. One of the things that I thought about when I read this book is that, you know, as a person of color, right, I definitely have so many emotions when it comes to the institution of slavery, anger being the very first one. And when you get so angry about something, you sometimes just see things, for lack of a better word, in black and white, right and wrong. You don't always notice the gray areas and recognize the significance of them. And I think that this book does a good job of showing you that gray area, as well as the other, the black and the white areas as well. But the relationship that forms between Titch and Wash is almost familial, or father and son to some extent, more so than always mentor or master and enslaved. So I think that it helps you to kind of get out of your way and think about it in a way that isn't always the first way that you think about it. And I appreciated that a lot in the story because, you know, although Titch is not necessarily vested in the family business, and although he's not, you know, doesn't want anything to really do with running a plantation and managing people and managing the finances like that, he is still benefiting from the money that has been produced by the forced labor of the enslaved people that are on their plantations. And so even, you know, you can't completely let him off the hook because of that, because, you know, his ability to be able to go do these experiments, the money comes directly from that. So that's something, you know, that can't be escaped. But in spite of that, the author, it brings you along in the story in such a way that you do, I'm trying to find the right words. I'm not sure I find if compassion is the word I want to with regards to Titch, but you do take an interest in his well-being, and you want to know if he is going to be if he's going to right the situation, if he's going to do right by Wash. I'm trying to make sure I don't say anything really about this story. So I think that is brilliant in a story because, again, like I said, you can let anger just kind of lead you into that one way of thinking without thinking about the complexity of it. You know, when people, especially in this time period, you know, that were black and white and fell in love, there's the gray area. You know, people don't think about it because they're like, well, you know, how can they really love each other? And so they are sometimes even uncomfortable things to think about because you think about the power dynamics, right? So there is the power dynamics here between Titch and Wash, but at the same time, the role gets kind of reversed to some extent in the story. So it's interesting. There's many characters that are in the book. There is Big Kit, and Big Kit is the woman who basically, you know, for all intents and purposes, is the person that has been with him and helped take care of him for as long as he can remember, in terms of Wash. So Wash has a strong bond with Big Kit, almost like a motherly bond, and she kind of looks after him while they're there until he ends up going off with Titch. He's with Big Kit, and Big Kit kind of tries to make sure that she can kind of protect him and shield him as much as she can from some of the harshness, but at the same time, you know, she also is an enslaved person as well, so she can only do so much. So his relationship, you feel for him when he's taken from her, because you think, okay, this is almost like a motherly figure for him. So she plays a big role in his thought process, how he even into adulthood, he continues to think and reflect on the things that that uh, that Big Kit says. There's one quote that I really like that he quotes from Big Kit, and it says, "I'll only say that if I have acquired any wisdom from Big Kit, it is to live always with your eyes cast forward, and to seek what will be, for the path behind can never be retaken." I love that. I love that quote. I was like, oh God, that's definitely got to go in my book journal. I like to pull out quotes from books. That one I just thought was so, it encapsulates the way that Wash kind of moves through this story and how he evolves into a man. He also is open to how Blacks are treated in America. And he has it also comes in contact with a mixed race girl that he finds some level of attraction to, which leads him on to another aspect in the story. And I love the way that she carries you through this story with these different experiences that he has and events that occur. And there's there's a lot of turning points. There's definitely one specifically that I can't, without spoiling, that I think about, that he even reflects on in the story of, what if I had chosen this path versus this path? What would have become of me? And those are the things you think about when you read the story as well. Each time that things happen, what will happen? I like the evolution of his character. I like that there was a good ending to the story. Things come together. And I think that it's not, slavery isn't a pretty topic, and it's very difficult to kind of write about it and have it be something that that is enjoyable to read, without using the word enjoy, because enjoy is not enjoyable, but you can go through the story and you can bear it to come out on the other side with a additional perspectives. I guess, I don't know, joy is a hard word for me to use, because I don't enjoy it at all when I read things about the inhumanity of the institution of slavery. But I do feel it's important to read it. Once again, that's why we read the books that we do, the challenging ones that can help us grow, right? Hold on one second, because I can't get rid of this. I thought it was an excellent book. I highly recommend it. It'd be great for this month, for Black History Month. But you know what I said? Black History Month is not. It's not just one month. It's history that involves Black people, but it should have been included in the regular history, and then we wouldn't have to have just this focus on different groups. But any time of the year to read this. I read this in January and loved it. Definitely started off the year right. Excellent writing, very atmospheric too. I felt like she did such a beautiful job. At one point, in there was a scene when he was in the water and there was these jellyfish, and the descriptions and the smells and the sights, I could almost see it. I remember growing up seeing a lot of jellyfish because I was near the ocean, and I remember going to this pier area where I could go and see a bunch of them, and just thinking it was so magical to see them, right? I wasn't getting in there, but I love to see them from the pier. And I think that I just felt like she captured everything in here. This could be easily a movie, and giving a good blueprint for somebody to write it up and make a movie for it. So I highly recommend it. I don't know what else I can say. I just think that it's a good book, and I'm glad that I picked it up finally and that it started off January right. And I look forward to more reads throughout the year like this. So I know that she's written some other books prior to this, I think, too. Totally different, I think, type of topic. So I'll have to check out and see what they're about. But this one was on point. Really a great book, and I highly recommend it. And before I continue babbling, that is all I have to say for you about this book. But just pick it up if you get a chance. And like I said, the audiobook is fantastic. If I can remember, when I write the write-up down below, I will see if I can write the name of the audio talent for the book, because it was really good. Anyway, I hope you all are well, and I hope you all are masking up, washing your hands, and social distancing, and more importantly, reading. I'll talk to you later. Bye.